Stay upstairs for two more. Go ahead, please.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Kevin, you touched on that you were happy for Matt because he had helped you 2 years ago. Matt's not usually a guy who kind of grabs for the spotlight or the glamour, but I think there's a sense he's well respected among his peers. I guess both for Kevin and Elliott, do you think this will be a popular victory that Matt Kenseth, the guy who doesn't always kind of kind of shuns the spotlight a little bit, is finally in the spotlight winning NASCAR's biggest race?
Well, I think in the garage it'll definitely be a popular win. I think Matt's obviously a pretty stand-up person and a great race car driver, and accomplished a lot in this sport. And I think a lot of us can relate to Matt. For kind of being out of the spotlight, and I think he's one of those guys that he could win 7 or 8 races in a year and never receive any credit. So he's a really good race car driver, and he's a champion and Daytona 500 champion, and I think a lot of times some of those things are overlooked.
Okay, and one more question upstairs, then we'll come down. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike Harris from AP. For both AJ and Elliott, last year Gem and Petty Enterprises were both struggling teams, and now as the merger, the first race out, 3 guys in the top 9. How much do you think this means to this new team?
I mean, I think it's a big deal. It was a tough offseason for everybody. It was a long offseason, and there's a lot of stuff that went on throughout the team and with the merger. And, we came here, and I think it shows how strong the team is now. Like I said, Elliott and Reed were a big factor of why I got into this race, and that was a lot of teamwork that went involved to get that to happen. And like I said, I wish it would have rained just a little bit earlier so we could have had a Cinderella story and had Elliott and all of us in the top 5. But overall the team's done a lot of work in the off season. We got brand new race cars. Everybody's putting 100% effort into it, and you can see just when you go to the shop and at the racetrack, just everybody's attitude is just, even from the 5 races that I was there last year, everybody's pumped up to be here and excited. You got the king walking around and saying hi to everybody, making sure everybody's good. It's a lot of fun at the racetrack right now. So I look forward to going to California and just carrying this on.
Okay, let's come back downstairs. David?
Kevin, just to make sure, the decision to call the race as quickly as they made it, are you okay with that? Do you think that we should still be waiting? What's your feeling?
I've learned a long time ago that I just kind of do my own thing, and the rest of it is all up to them. So, fortunately, we've sat on the other side of the fence, and knowing how our day started and what we accomplished today, I'm happy with where we are. Obviously, how exciting it is to be in victory lane, but it's easy to second guess something until you have to go sit up there and make those decisions.
Other questions downstairs? Got one right over here. If we can get a microphone to Tim right over here, I believe.
Tim Constein, Road and Track. AJ, you had a tough year last year. You were in a kind of a spot. You showed good at the end of the year. You had some strength at the end of the year. You still lost a ride. Do you feel, first, do you feel any kind of vindication now? And second, would you credit your results to car or improvement, personal improvement, or both, or what?
I mean, I think you quickly learn in this sport that it doesn't owe you anything. I mean, you got to earn everything that you get, and you can sit back and feel bad about yourself or whine about everything that's going on. But there's a lot of people in this world that are a lot less fortunate than I am right now to even everything that I went through. So, for me, it ultimately comes down to 2 decisions. You can either quit or you can work harder and make something happen. And I'm never going to quit. I'm going to keep working harder, and and that's my attitude. And I know if I can go out there and do everything that I can on and off the racetrack, I can go home, and whether I have a ride, run well, don't run well, and just go home and feel good about myself and not second guess anything, because that's all you can control. So, as for results, I mean, I'd credit most of the team. I mean, I don't have a lot of restrictor plate racing, and had to learn a lot and have great teammates that are great on these racetracks to help me learn. And I had to learn quick, but overall, they brought great race cars, and there was times that we struggled in these 2 weeks. There was times that we were great, and today I just got to give a lot of credit, all the credit to Sammy Johns and Mike Wolf, my crew chief, my engineer, the whole race team. The pit stops were great, and it was a thing that my pit crews only had 2 or 3 weeks to work together. They had tryouts to put together for this team, and they had great stops all day. So, I give all the credit in the world to them.
How many years you driven a stock car?
I don't know. It's 2.5 now, and if
Yeah,
you
I
take
think
all the races that I've missed,
I think a lot of people forget that.
yeah, take all the races I've missed, I think I'm still at like a half a year. Maybe just got over 1 year, I think, maybe.
I think everybody forgets how many people have been run out of this sport from the open wheel side that hadn't had any success whatsoever, and he's been pretty successful in a short amount of time.
Question back over there to the left. Go ahead.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Guys, I'm not sure where each of you were at the time, but what was your view of the big wreck with Earnhardt and Vickers? What did you see of that, and what did you make of all that?
I didn't see anything.
I saw a lot of smoke, a lot of stuff flying. That was about it. Went right through the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know exactly where everybody was running, but I was pretty far up, and I saw kind of Vickers get dropped to the bottom, and Earnhardt was down there, and from there after that, it was just pretty much a big commotion, and my spotter did a good job to get me through, and you just, at that point, it's not a lot of driving skill. You just pray for you pick the right line and you go through it.
I was in front of it, so I didn't see it.
Thanks.
Any other questions for AJ, Kevin, or Elliott? Got one in the back up on the riser.
Doug Turnbull, WSB Radio. This is for any of you that's willing to answer it. It seemed during the Bud shootout and during some of the practice sessions, during the Gatorade duels, that the cars were pretty much on the edge. They were about to spin out, or it seemed like sometimes people had trouble controlling them. During this race, I mean, that happened a little bit, but not as much. Does it seem like the COT, that the team's been able to make enough improvements on it, or were you all still pretty much on the edge out there?
I thought the race was pretty tame. I mean, from from the Bud shootout and everything that happened, it seemed like with the heat not being on the racetrack, it seems like the cars were a lot more manageable, and my car drove as good as it did all weekend.
Good answer, Kevin.
Yeah, I'll stick with that.
Anything else? Okay, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in California. Thanks for their time, and thanks for putting on a good show today.